Welcome to Arduino Basics.
Now that we have our circuit, we are going to go to code as usual. We are going to remove the blocks that we can see here and select text because we are going to type the code for our circuit. Remember, do not modify void setup, void loop. And now we are going to start with an integer. And because I have two different buttons, I am going to have an integer for the button 1. In this case, it is connected to the pin 7 and an integer for button 2, which is connected to pin number 6. In this case, we are going to use integer button status equal 0. We don't have a pin 0, but we need to have this for the two buttons. The status for the button 1 and the status for the button 2. Now we are going to type our void setup. Because we have only two pins, we are going to use pin mode twice. One for the button 1 and one for the button 2. In this case, both buttons are going to act as inputs. So remember, whatever I write in here is what I wrote before on the integer. Now for the void loop, I am going to use the button status that is going to be equal to what receives or digital read the button 1. And the same for the button status 2. Those two integers that I identify for the pin 0, in this case, works with the pin 7 and pin 6. Remember, if I open a process, I close a process. But now I am going to use a subprocess. So the idea of this subprocess is that if button status is equal to high, that means that I push the button. Now I need to open a subprocess using the brackets, and I am going to set the tone from the pin 8, that's why I have the number 8, to 100. This number is the number of hertz that is going to produce the buzzer. I am going to take a time of 1 second and then no tone, meaning that it's going to stop the sound. As you can see now, I close the subprocess using another bracket, and I am going to open another subprocess. But this time, as you can see, is if button status 2, because it's for the second button, and the code is going to be exactly the same. So I am going to copy and paste, and I am just going to change this number 100 for 200 because it's the hertz that is going to produce. So it's the pitch the buzzer is going to produce. As I told you, I verify 8 because it's the pin 8. I verify that, well, I open, close the process, and now I am going to start the simulation. As you can see, everything is working, so now I am going to push the buttons to listen the sound, and you can see that the pitch of each button is different. Why? Because the numbers that I use for the numbers of hertz the buzzer is going to produce is different. Now I'm going to try a different one. 100 I'm going to change for 50 and this one for 150. Yeah. As I told you, the frequency is measured in hertz. That's why I mentioned that this number is a number of hertz. Now 50 hertz, 150 hertz. Okay, now it's time for you to try your own code.